How many times have you heard that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are used by drug dealers and money launderers? Come on, be honest with me. You know you've heard that. These are misconceptions that you run into everywhere. I've been in conversations with people where that just drops in just like it's a given. And the fact is, these things are not real. And the more you let them get ahead of you, the bigger the risk you run, because some of these could have very big impacts and consequences. The first one that I have to tell you is that people think that cryptocurrencies are used only for illegal activities. You know, many people think that Bitcoin is the tool of choice of drug dealers, money launderers, anybody that wants to do illegal activities. They actually want to use Bitcoin. Why? Because they cannot track them. That is so far from the truth. Tell you the honest truth, Bitcoin is very traceable. In fact, every record recorded on the Bitcoin blockchain is permanent and immutable. What that means is that once you do a transaction, there will be forever a record that that transaction took place. So if you want to be hiding your money moves, you don't want people to know what you're doing, you really don't want to be using Bitcoin. You don't want to be using cryptocurrencies that are actually recording on the blockchain. Why? Because blockchain keeps a permanent record that's immutable of every single transaction that's ever taken place. So to tell you the honest truth, if you're going to be doing illegal activities like money laundering or doing drug dealers, the last thing you want to do is actually to use Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. Because when you do that, you leave a permanent record that will forever haunt you. You can't get away from that. You might, if you're going to be trying to hide away from it, trust me, the FBI and different entities around the world will be able to see exactly what you did. Why? Because it leaves a record on the blockchain. So no, cryptocurrencies are not only used for illegal activities. To tell you the honest truth, fiat cash is used far more than cryptocurrencies. So no. Myth number one, cryptocurrencies are only used for illegal activities. That's a big one. The next one that I want to tell you is related to the sim one. People think that cryptocurrencies are anonymous. Cryptocurrencies are not anonymous. Now, when you get a Bitcoin address, you don't really have to give your name. So for example, when I get a Bitcoin wallet, I can download a Bitcoin wallet and I don't really need to give my name. You know, as a matter of fact, I can even generate a paper wallet. That's a Bitcoin address. It's actually, you get the public and the private key. It's a piece of paper. I can generate that in my house without anybody ever knowing that I generated that Bitcoin address. I didn't have to give my name. I didn't have to give my identity. But that doesn't mean that Bitcoin is anonymous. Guess what happens when you use that Bitcoin address? That Bitcoin address then becomes your identity on the Bitcoin network. So key things, if I'm doing a transaction with someone else, I don't have to give my name, but there will forever be a record of that transaction on the Bitcoin blockchain. And my Bitcoin address will be in that transaction. So my identity on the Bitcoin network is my Bitcoin address. And guess what? If someone finds out what that Bitcoin address is and who it belongs to, there goes my identity. So cryptocurrency addresses are not anonymous. And as a matter of fact, when people think that Bitcoin is anonymous, I want to take you back to a really big one. You may have heard about a dark web market called Silk Road. Silk Road was a very, very popular dark market where people could actually buy drugs, but mostly marijuana. You could buy marijuana and you paid in Bitcoin. People thought that you could actually pay in Bitcoin, and because you didn't have to give your name, nobody would ever know who you were. Guess what? Big mistake. To this day, there's still a permanent record of every single person that ever bought marijuana on Silk Road. You can't hide that away. So whether they've caught you or whether that will ever come up and haunt you, you know, I can't help you there. But what I do know is the record of everybody that ever did a transaction on Silk Road, their Bitcoin addresses are all permanently recorded on the Bitcoin blockchain. So cryptocurrency addresses are not anonymous. Now, another big misconception. People think that blockchain is only used for finance and cryptocurrencies. That's not true. As a matter of fact, blockchain is used in a wide range of other areas. For example, supply chain management. I actually have published a course called Blockchain and Supply Chain Management, in which I actually show how blockchain is used to trace different assets through a supply chain all the way from the moment they were created all the way to the end consumer. In fact, one of my favorite tuna brands is Bumblebee Tuna. Bumblebee Tuna, every single tuna can they sell has a code on it. That code has a full permanent record of the tuna all the way from the ocean to the can. And all of it is traceable on blockchain. So blockchain is used for many, many more uses than merely finance and cryptocurrencies. As a matter of fact, people think that blockchain is used exclusively for Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, and NFTs. There's far more uses to that. So, myth number 2, blockchain is not used exclusively for finance and cryptocurrencies. So let's get to the fourth myth rather. All cryptocurrencies are the same. People think that all cryptos are the same, and that's so far from the truth. To tell you the truth, there are thousands of cryptocurrencies. As a matter of fact, at this moment, CoinMarketCap.com says that there's more than 1 million cryptocurrencies out there. Whether it's tens of thousands or millions of cryptocurrencies, the fact is there's a lot of different cryptocurrencies. And guess what? Different cryptocurrencies have different purposes. For example, Bitcoin is an electronic cash system. It's a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. That was the name of the Bitcoin white paper, and that's the vision. Bitcoin is used as electronic cash. You can make payments with it. But there are other cryptocurrencies that have different purposes. For example, Ethereum. Ethereum is a decentralized smart contracts platform. Now, what that means is that you can code smart contracts, which will run on Ethereum, and you can create tokens. These tokens are also cryptocurrencies. So you can have a token created on the Ethereum blockchain. For example, Mana is one of those. These are cryptocurrencies that also have a value to them. Shiba Inu is another one. And the thing is, these tokens don't have a blockchain of their own. They're a token that is a cryptocurrency, but it's built on top of another blockchain. Now, let me give you the difference there. For example, Shiba Inu is a token that's built on Ethereum, right? But Ethereum has a cryptocurrency of its own called Ether. Ether is the native cryptocurrency or coin for Ether, for Ethereum. Now, on Ethereum, you can build tokens. I mentioned Shiba Inu is a token built on top of Ethereum. You can have Mana is an ERC20 token also built on top of Ethereum. So these are all tokens that are created on top of Ethereum, and they're completely different from Ether, for instance, which is the coin built on Ethereum. And they're also very different from Bitcoin, which is the coin on top of the Bitcoin blockchain. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is that the myth that all cryptos are the same, completely dispelled. Which leads me to my next point. Now, some people think that cryptocurrencies have no real value. Here's the key thing you have to think about it. Some people think that because they tend to think that dollars, for example, are valuable. Well, dollars used to originally be backed by gold. There was something called the gold standard. Well, dollars today are not backed by gold anymore. There's nothing really backing dollars other than the faith that you trust that your dollars will be worth something. But there's really no backing to the US dollar. It's a fiat currency. Guess what? The other fiat currencies are also not backed. Whether you're talking about euros, whether you're talking about yen, all of these are fiat currencies and nothing is backing them. So let's take us back to Bitcoin. Let's talk specifically about Bitcoin. What makes Bitcoin valuable is that people believe it's worth whatever it's worth. But you have to think about why that's the case. The reason why Bitcoin is valuable is because I can use Bitcoin right now and I can buy things with it, or I can actually hold it and invest in it, knowing that it holds its value. There's a utility to Bitcoin. So the utility is a big one. The other one that really gives Bitcoin value is the scarcity. There will only be a maximum of 21 million Bitcoins ever to be mined. What that means is that there will come a point where there will be no more Bitcoins. And guess what? Every single one of the Bitcoins that were created and will be created is unique. And whoever owns them will have them. Nobody else can have any more. That gives Bitcoins their value. And the other thing you want to understand is that the Bitcoin network is composed of thousands and thousands of computers all around the world, which are running the Bitcoin protocol, running the Bitcoin software. Think about the millions of dollars of mining hardware all around the world, networking, connecting all around the world that compose the Bitcoin network. That is valuable. So whenever you're actually getting a Bitcoin, what you need to understand is that there is this massive network of computers all around the world that are just keeping track of every single transaction that's ever taken place and recording it on the blockchain. That is the value for Bitcoin. So Going through all of the different myths and misconceptions, we begin with the fact that people think that cryptocurrencies are used exclusively for money laundering and drug deals. Tell you what, Bitcoin has been the way that I get paid, and it's been that way for a very, very long time. Yes, I still get paid in fiat by other clients and stuff, but many of my clients pay me exclusively in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, but primarily in Bitcoin. So I gotta tell you something. Bitcoin's been the primary way that I've been getting paid through many, many years. And guess what? It's gonna continue to be that, because like me, there are millions of people all around the world using Bitcoin, and it keeps growing. Thank you for joining me in this episode of Changing the World Technology. I invite you to subscribe, share the podcast far and wide, and stay tuned for upcoming episodes. Until next time, visit my website at georgelevy.com to connect with me, follow me on social media, and sign up for my free email newsletter packed with valuable tips and bonuses.
Changing the World Technology with George Levy. Brought to you by Blockchain Institute of Technology and AI Institute of Technology.